So here we are. Welcome back in another episode of The Point of View. I'm so glad and so happy to have with us a friend that came in the past in another episode. I'm talking about Mr. Philipp Druzhinin. Hi, Philipp. How are you?
Hello, buongiorno, guys. Francesco, buongiorno, Adrian.
Thank you to be with us. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So
Thanks
in
for
the other side, we have a friend that everybody knows, and I'm happy to introduce to Phil, our friend, Mr. Francesco. Ciao, Francesco. How are you?
Ciao Adri, hi Philip. It's very pleasure to meet Philip in this occasion. I'm not too comfortable with English, with speaking English, but I try to ask some questions, refer to some studies I'm doing now.
Perfect.
Okay,
I
nice to
think
meet you.
no worry, no worry. So we can start, and I would like to say that in some these last weeks, me and Francesco started a new series that we called the Hidden History, where we're talking about actually all the ancient civilization, lost civilization, like for example Lemuria, Atlantide. We're talking about also Tartaria, and we mentioned you, Phil, different times, several times, because we did also two episodes in the past together where we talk about the hidden history also. So some part of the hidden history, no? But now we are, for example, stopped again. We are at the point of the Tartaria problem, no? But it seems that something solved because we explain several times, that Tartaria is not this big global empire. It's just a
Yes.
place with
Yes.
some remember about lost technologies or knowledge. Just this, nothing more. Are you agree, no, with us, Phil?
Yes. I was saying it's from the day one. So Tartaria is not a global empire or whatever. It's just the remnants of one big empire, because there was only one empire, and empire means the only one, actually. So, and it means that it was named after the Perun, and also some connections with person. Persona is also the god who is creating tritons, and tritons are the Roman gods, actually, and Greek gods that use trident. This three like thing.
You can
And
say
it's
Poseidon.
yeah, Poseidon also used this weapon, and sometimes tritons use it with the fascina wrapped around this trident. So fascina is also a Roman thing. This thing looks like interesting device. But anyway, so what I'm saying is a bunch of civilizations mixed up, and the addition of information that was concluded in 19th century created this establishment in history, this official mainstream theory, the historical timeline. Somebody is questioning it, like Newton was questioning it, the timeline, and other Masons that followed his knowledge, including the guys in Russia, which were followed by Fomenko and Nosovsky in the 60s, in the 70s, then when they were engaged in a team, and also then when the Soviet Union decomposed and dissolved, they had to earn some money, and they started printing books like crazy printer, and printed around 80 books, I think, about this topic. So the topic is really big. There's a bunch of editions that they find as miscalculations or false narrative, and the information. So they try to correct it. They try to represent it their way, the way that they believe it was happening, the way that they, actually calculate it. And so they position the different historical occasions. They find the duplicates when they have the same person that was duplicated through the timeline, and interesting research. So, and they also kind of mention Tartaria sometimes. They mention it along with order, and order, as we know, is the biggest country that had this order and believes that it has the full heritage of this order is China, because they also were engaged in this edition of history. And if you follow the Chinese history, you'll find that some things in Chinese history are totally duplicated from the Roman history and Greek history. They only change the names of personages and so on, the emperors and so on. And so some Chinese don't even know it. In the 40s, when China was actually revived as a country after 100-year drug abusement by the West, when they were totally on drugs and opium, and they call it 100 years of humiliation. They didn't have all this together. They didn't have all this. And in the end of the day, the Soviet Union, as they claim, gave them this edited mainstream version of history with their place in it as one of the oldest countries in the world, and with one of the oldest histories. And they have this Tartarian heritage plugged into their history, as you know, and they believe that they are right now the descendants of Tartaria, and they want to reintegrate all this territory again through this Silk Belt Road, new way of trade. This is ideology and symbolism itself. So the other country that pretends on Tartarian heritage is Russia. First one who actually put this subject into discussion was was Putin, who was meeting with Tatarian president. Tatarstan is a like a region in Russia, and they also have a president. One of the few regions in Russia that have presidents, actually. But anyway, that guy came and showed the books where it's named Tartaria, not Tataria, but Tartaria. Everywhere. But these guys were named Bulgars before the revolutions. Everywhere they were named Tatars or Bulgars in the old way, old style. And we know Bulgaria is also a country on the Black Sea. So, and some Crimean Tatars are also kind of relate to these Tatars in Russia. So it's like a belt of little Petit Tartaria, as it was called on ancient maps. It was called Petit Tartaria, like small Tartaria. And it was around Black Sea and was right on the Crimean Peninsula. So very interesting place and to study. And so these guys were called Bulgars themselves, and they were praising bulls, like bulls, buffaloes, big, buff, cows, and so on. So they were nomads, actually, nomad-based, and they became farming cattle and so on only after Russia conquered that area. So in official history, it's all like pretty plain and simple, but when you start to go into the details of how and what each nation was called and try to compare what's written on the map, you realize that nothing matches up, on the official history and those maps. You see the cities that they weren't even discovered at the time that the map was printed sometimes, because Russians didn't go there at that period of time in the official version, and it's already on the map as a big city. It's crazy. Sometimes you have Russian names of the cities when Russians never went, and they already called the Russian way, the modern Russian way. So it's like a question of the maps, first of all, a question of edition of a history, a question of hiding, as you guys are trying to research, hidden history, when it's intentional actions to hide some, place or time or period. When you excavate, when you renovate a building, you find something suspicious down below. When you, for example, go to a field where it's supposed to be the main battle of, the century between order of Tatars and Mongols and Russian troops, which is located in Kulikovo Pole. It's Kulikov field in Tula region near the Moscow. Not near, but it's kind of near in Russian scale. And you don't find anything there except maybe for several details of battle, maybe which could be found everywhere, actually, with the same chance of being found. And that's what Fomenko and Osovsky are pointing out, saying, you calling this place the main battle place, but we are calling this place the main battle place. And they're kind of, pulling out these names, toponyms, geonyms, rivers, and editing it all together from the ancient maps, from the ancient books, and trying to interpret it in a modern way. So the books are being sold very good, for example. And so they can get, some further budgeting of their research, of course, which they don't want to stop, I think. And they've been printed like 82 books, as I've been counting last time I was counting them. So I think now it's even more. And so these guys are on a big highway of research and making money on it. And that reminds me that anytime any person that has a theory or something, very alternative, they usually print a book as soon as possible, just to, coin or, patent their research. Like, I found it. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I was the first one that, printed book. How many books I've read about mud flood in Tartaria? Zero books. I only reviewed them, in the internet, because I can't buy these books in Amazon, and sometimes it's very hard to deliver. But there's like 10 or 11 books already printed on mudflood, about the same number on Tartaria, and all they have sometimes is photoshopped, images inside. I've been posting examples of this crap on my Instagram, like when they see, opening the Tartaria book and finding the robots from 20th century, which are edited in the Photoshop image. And that's ridiculous. That's not the technology of Tartaria, of course. That's just, speculation and making money on ancient photographs, which are edited by somebody else. This is crazy. So if you guys want to research Tartaria as a place, perhaps you should go there and make some, excavations in the places where you want to excavate. Maybe go to some libraries, archives, right? But who will let you do that? You are not Putin, right? Nobody's gonna bring you these books. Nobody's gonna be opening this. You are not a member of Russian Geographic Society. Try to become one. Or maybe, well, you might be as an Italian or British researcher, might as well email this archive in Russia. Maybe they'll give you opportunity to come as a foreigner. Why not? Maybe they'll show you those books. But what will it give to you? What assumptions will you make after this? It's definitely not give you the information that the whole world was one country. Nobody's gonna give you this information. I believe nobody is giving this information right now. Maybe several persons do. And it's totally being blocked. So what they left is this thin layer of Tartaria information, totally edited. You can find several puzzle pieces in different books, in different maps, in different blah, 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 blah. But below Tartaria, you are not allowed to go at all. And Tartaria is just, the curtain for the future information. Oh, this antique world I've been talking about, why it's called antique actually, why it's called antiquities, and so on and so on and so on. So nobody's gonna talk about that. No. We ain't talking about that. Nobody's gonna talk about Marine Kingdom, their symbolism everywhere, their influence on our society. Nobody's gonna talk about parasites. Nobody is gonna talk about humanoids, these hybrids that operate here. All they can do is actually released a report of some green UFO.
Aliens have landed in Las Vegas, allegedly. A suspected UFO captured on police body cam. It happened in April, but the video dropped this week. And it also involved a family who called the cops to report something strange on their property. Watch.
Yeah, me and him saw it.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
I don't believe in it, you know, but what I saw right now, I do believe in it. I got scared, like...
You guys don't, I mean, you guys seem legit scared, so I don't blame you.
So either the alien flew back into space, or these guys found some really good hallucinogens on the strip.
And some funny guy in a Simpson shirt with a checkmate chessboard on it, telling us that he's seen aliens.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is my first video. I'm here to tell you what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I'm trying to explain the best of my abilities. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not making this story out for clout or fame. I just want to tell you what happened to me and my family.
2 aliens with the 8 or 10 feet tall in his backyard, and not even filming them, not even releasing the footage. So all they have is a body cam footage of police, a call to a 911, and his, tail of the tape. Actually, that's it. And that's we're supposed to believe in, but we're not supposed to do any other research. Only this one. We only have to talk about this bullshit on the TV, discuss it on our kitchens, with our, kids and wives and grandparents. I don't know.
Fellas, UFOs, real or fake?
Real.
UFOs are real.
World is flat. Aliens are real.
They are, right? Are aliens real or fake?
I think they're definitely real.
Are the aliens real or fake?
Real.
You think?
Like that.
What? Were you abducted? Blink twice if you're being abducted right now. You're safe? Are aliens real or fake?
Fake.
Do you believe aliens have come to Earth? You say they're real, right? Are aliens real or fake?
I don't know, dude.
You're in Times Square. Haven't you met a few by now?
No. Oh, I mean, every kind of alien, but not from space.
You've seen aliens?
We've been to Rachel, Nevada, where we live.
Oh, get out of here.
So, Area 51.
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone in Reno is an alien, no? Is that what they're doing with the aliens? They're just teaching them to play blackjack in Reno to keep them busy?
That's right, it's a distraction.
Is that where they are? Because I gotta be honest with you, some of those strippers in Reno were not from this planet. And don't even get me started on the Bunny Ranch. Excuse me, are aliens real or fake?
They're real.
They are real, right? You think they've come to Earth?
Yes.
Yo, fellas, are aliens real or fake?
Aliens are absolutely real.
Give it to me. You heard this gentleman? Real. This guy knows things.
To say, but sometimes we saw some flags of this Tartarian place, and in some of them came out this owl, this weird owl, But if we study owl, the symbolism around the owl, we can see that it's take part, for example, of the Bohemian Groove Sacred Society. They have this big owl. So maybe I was thinking that they can photoshopping something just to put, I don't know, maybe their presence inside this history about big emperor called Tartaria. You know what I mean?
Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger canceled plans to go to Bohemian Grove in California this weekend because of the possibility of more flare-ups in the Lebanon crisis. But even without the Defense Secretary, the Bohemian Grove will not close down for lack of power. And what is the Bohemian Grove? Well, it's a kind of summer camp for the powerful, an all-male gathering in great secrecy. More from Dennis Murphy.
George Shultz, Henry Kissinger, and West German Chancellor Schmidt arrived by car. The chairman of General Motors and U.S. Steel came in by private jet.
If you would look at the guest list over a period of 5 years, I don't think there would be anybody of any importance in America who was missing from that list.
Cabinet officers and captains of industry are going to summer camp at Bohemian Grove, an all-male retreat secluded in the Redwood Forest 2 hours north of San Francisco. Outsiders are not invited. What's hidden away is a little bit of Boy Scout camp and a lot of fraternity hokum. There are rituals, bonfires, and the burning of effigies. The members live in lodges with names like Wolf and Caveman. Gerald Ford, Henry Kissinger, William French Smith, and George Shultz are bunkmates at Mandalay Camp. President Reagan's camp, Owl's Nest, is famous for its Eggs Benedict and Ramos Gin Fizz breakfast. But for the most part, stories about what happens in these redwoods are hard to come by. A campground statue reminds Bohemians to keep their mouths shut about the Grove.
I've heard a lot of good music there. I've met a lot of interesting people, and I look forward to listening to music again.
But there are employees who tell tales out of school.
You know, I mean, half of these guys, you know, from what I can tell, you know, stay loaded or stay bombed, you know, the entire time that they're there. I mean, they stagger into breakfast and stagger out from dinner. But at the same time, you know, they're talking business.
And sometimes those business talks send ripples far beyond the Grove. Sociology professor William Domhoff.
Reagan and Nixon talked at length in 1967 in the Grove to decide who would go first in Republican primaries.
While decision makers are cementing friendships, protesters outside the gate are keeping a vigil. To them, the Bohemian Grove is an all-white, all-male, undemocratic policy-making arm of the government. They want the Bohemians to go home. But summer camp won't end until next week. Dennis Murphy, NBC News, Monte Rio, California.
Yeah. So first of all, what is all representing? Actually, it's a night, right? Night and hunt in the night. Like everybody's sleeping and I'm hunting, or I have a night vision, you don't have night vision, something like that. So definitely is some type of a group of people that are related to Tartarian regime, because it was a huge mining territory and a bunch of commercial interest was in there. So some people were actually making money on guarding all this stuff. Some people were making money on transporting goods. Some people were making money actually on the mining itself. And it was a huge business. Of course, these people knew they had to research and develop, just like other corporations in our time. They have this R&D department in each and every big corporation. What this R&D department does, actually, it does the prediction for the future outcomes. And what this or that corporation is supposed to do to survive or to reach the top level closer to monopoly, as close as it can be, because the monopoly is the end game for the capitalistic group. You know, each and every monopoly in each and every area is the end game. So, but back in the days, I think it was a lot slower and people were a lot more complicated with that. I don't think they were, you know, paying much attention to this secret thing. They were more plain and simple. They were just mining or just, you know, doing something. So all this class of people disappeared, because that's why Tartaria disappeared, by the way, because they could not implement themselves into the future projects that were appearing and erasing the past projects. So some groups actually researched and developed, and some didn't pay attention to it, and they disappeared. So I think the old symbolism relates to this group that was guarding. So it's a military group. It's a military intelligence group. And these guys were like special forces, but not like special forces, but they were special forces for special operations. I think covert operation in 18th and 19th century were used to, you know, actually replace the old world with the new one. That's why they have this position right now, this privileged position in the banking sector, financial markets, so on. And this BlackRock Corporation. BlackRock Corporation is one of the biggest corporations.
Yeah, they have also almost everything. They have, no, BlackRock.
Yeah, almost most of the financial instruments are divided by several groups. So, and BlackRock was managed on the money of one of these Rothschild clans, one of the roots of this Rothschild clan. So, some say that they are the most important family, but I don't think so. They're just managers who are they're good in operation, right? They're good at strategy and tactics in operation, and, you know, planning and so on. So They create events. They don't wait for the shit to happen. They make shit happen, is what they say. So BlackRock is one of the most important players right now in a post-future coming rebuilding of Ukraine. They already divided this market. Everybody knows that BlackRock is going to be rebuilding Ukraine after Ukraine wins Russia.
Zelensky announced an alliance with BlackRock for reconstruction of Ukraine. Now, that BlackRock reconstruction was signed back in December with the CEO Larry Fink. BlackRock said that rebuilding Ukraine could take, Crystal, between $700 to $800 billion. And they're pointing specifically to the new partnership where they will advise the Ukrainian government on how to structure the country's reconstruction fund.
And many experts actually don't believe that too. And we're going to see that in future. But if we divide this huge global spectrum of influence, we can also relate it to the symbolism of colors. Like, what color do you represent the EU has? What is the main color?
The main color of you mean in general?
The main color is the flag color. The main color of EU
red?
is blue.
Ah, it's blue. Okay.
Right. So Russia has red, blue, and white, just like France. France represent the symbolism as fraternity, freedom, and equality, I think. So it's like 3 colors, 3 definitions. So brotherhood, equality, and freedom. It's Masonic 3-color. And Russia also has it. This 3-color is also represented in Netherlands, Holland, the same color. And also, what color is actually Holland color? It's not red, blue, and white as on their flag. Their main color is orange. Everybody knows that, right? Orange Revolution, William the Orange, that was establishing the current, establishment in Britain. And so the influence of Holland in Britain is, very clear, as the influence of Saxonic monarchs in all bloodlines of European monarchs. So it's basically the same guys. So that's why they, took this blue color and they forgot about orange one. It's not the main one anymore. But when you look at the Ukraine, they had this also Orange Revolution in 2008, 07, or 2004, when they actually elected the president and made a third tour after Americans and Europeans got involved and said that elections were rigged, and they made a third tour and put their candidate in front and won. So, but that didn't help anyway. So orange color is this Masonic hidden color, and somebody is related orange to 33. So China is red color, completely red, but red is just the Eastern main color of luck and success. That's why they prefer this red color. But also because they were establishing as a communist country, which Soviet Union also had red flag. That's why it's kind of tied it with China and Russia, kind of, together sometimes in several occasions and several, problems. They solving it together, like friends. But China doesn't trust Russia because it has Masonic colors and Masonic government, Masonic influence, Masonic place, Masonic ideology, this liberal democracy that is, everywhere in Russia. Except since the war started, it's all starting to be cut, and European influence from Russia is being cut, and Russian gas is being cut from Europe. So we can all see the results of that. The price is again higher. Inflation, economic collapse in some countries, in some regions. Some people maybe made, shoes for Russia, like in Italy, and they can't sell it anymore. Somebody made Parmesan cheese, somebody made mozzarella, and now it's all made in Russia, right? Just because somebody cut these connections. The same with Germany. The same with any other countries that Russia has been supplying with these natural resources. So, yeah. So the next color is red. As I've been saying, it's belong to Russia, to China. Partially Russian influence also in this red is available, and you can see red color also in Republican Party in United States, right? Democrats are blue, and Democrats and European Union are totally agreeing on most of the topics, as you know, right? So this is kind of three main colors, or two main colors, blue and red, and you also have the black color. The black color is the color of Vatican. The black color is the color of Saudis, this ISIS thing, you know.
Yeah.
And the black color is Black Lives Matter. Remember, don't forget about that. And black color is Nazis in Germany, and I believe Black Panthers also had this black fist and so on. So just if you relate to the colors, you understand that sometimes it matches the competitors between. But you know, if you look at the Republican Party in China, how they could be working together, oh, they cannot actually work together because Republican Party doesn't have any influence right now on the political situation in United States. They are on the backstage. You know, when Trump was actually president for years, he actually, yes, he worked with Xi Jinping. He met with Xi Jinping. He met with Putin. He met with other red players. By the way, another red player is Erdogan and Iran. So they're kind of,
no? I think Erdogan
Iran and Erdogan are red. They're totally red, but you know they have black influence. Of course, they have black influence because they're, you know, Islamic. But still, it's like three players that playing below the table, and under the table you can see these, you know, puppets or actors who periodically making moves with cards or whatever they playing, you know.
Sure.
And you have to look under the table, but nobody's showing you what's under the table.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that's why sometimes you have you know, like Black Lives Matter in United States. What are they doing actually? They are putting down the United States. They're dismantling the United States. They're making these disgraceful future taxes for the oppressed slaves that are gonna be involved. California, I think, is already, you know, applying this stuff, and some other places. And look what's gonna happen. So somebody's poking somebody with different instruments they have. British are poking Russians with Turkish and Chinese, for example, periodically poking. There's also Green player. Green is a peaceful Muslim community, so-called peaceful, but actually we know the green is always black when you look at it closely. And so that's why conservative Muslims and conservative Christians are allies right now against blue collar, against liberal democracies, against multiple diversion and multiple sex and multiple all these, you know, theories.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn and have to understand the symbolism. Sometimes it shows all clear who is with who on which side. And as I've been, you know, today released a video about Ukrainian colors, which are blue and yellow, and the same colors were at the coronation procedure. The color is this golden yellow, and here is blue, the same as the horses can even rewind to the horses so you can see. Yeah, they have blue here, and let's see, also blue here, a bunch of people in blue, as you can see, and it's yellow. Okay. By the way, I think somebody from the guest also appeared to be dressed like in the colors of Ukrainian. I think Joe Biden and the First Lady of. Let's see if we can find him here. Oh, you can do it by yourself. I don't want to waste your time. So, bunch of people here, and you can watch each and everybody dressed like this. So, to highlight something from their status. So, kind of symbolizing that with that. And also, Zelensky himself is literally green. If you read his last name in Russian, it's called Green Man, Zelensky. What do you do? What do you have if you mix blue and yellow?
Yeah, green. Yeah.
So it's always like this, and sometimes it's clear as a day. I've opened my eyes on symbolism of 33 recently when I've seen how they use it in US politics. Actually, if you watch Fox News, for example, or any other news station.
The Orange Menace is heading to court again. Donald Trump landing in Florida earlier ahead of his federal appearance in Miami. Set for tomorrow, he'll be arraigned and formally charged with 37 federal accounts for allegedly mishandling classified documents.
On the case of Trump indictment, you see they list in his criminal felonies that he created, and it's like from 1 to 37 or from 1 to 31 he makes like this, from 32 is like this, and 33.
Yeah.
And for example, it's like Biden is being supported by only not Biden support is not supported by 67% of Americans.
Yeah.
67, that's 33 that are supporting. Like, or we've seen the documents of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden bribery scheme, and it's 1023, and it has another 1023s in it. It's like two 1023s. So it's like three 1023s. It's like 333s. I mean, what the hell? And
Happy Friday, everyone. I am Tom Shalhoub, in for Greg Gutfeld, who said he had to go save some orphans. At least that's what he texted me. Anyway, let's welcome tonight's guests. She serves her financial reports with baked beans and collard greens. Co-host of The Bottom Line on Fox Business, Dagan McDowell. He took me out to dinner and he asked for a copay. Host of Ask Dr. Drew, Dr. Drew Pinsky. When she goes on a rant, she packs a suitcase. Fox News contributor Kat Tim. And to him, Big Ben is just Ben. The NWA's World Heavyweight Champion, Tyrus!
Not the Yahoo.
Okay, now to some news. Even CNN hacks know no one wants another cup of joe. Turns out President Biden is not so popular with the American people. Also, the sun is hot. CNN broke the news, and it's horrible news. Horrible for Joe Biden.
Horrible news. Horrible for Joe Biden in our new CNN poll. 2/3 of all of the American people surveyed, 66% of the public, say that a Biden victory would either be a setback or a disaster for the United States.
A setback or a disaster? We've been in disaster territory for a while now. Am I right, audience?
Very interesting one.
Yeah. Yeah. These number and color theories are really no. It's not theories actually, because you can see that's really happened. So, but this information is really important and also funny sometimes, no? Because you can see that they work at the sunlight, but you don't know it. You don't know the symbolism. So sometimes you cannot recognize. But yeah, if you study a little bit more, you can see that everything is showed by the sunlight. Yeah, that's true. Someone
Yeah,
say
it's
that.
like just
Sorry,
a little it's like a guy even joking, saying like.
Do you realize that in 2024 on the presidential debate stage, both guys could be wearing ankle bracelets? Yes. It could possibly happen. It's possible.
Potentially two presidential candidates, both Trump and Biden, could possibly be indicted and be elected as a criminally, followed presidents. And even Ron DeSantis, the second candidate of Republican Party, has already criminal persecution under him for sending migrants to California on an airplane, on a private plane. So that's the thing. And what they want to do with Putin, they want to criminally charge him. They already assigned an order to capture him anywhere possible. So, I mean, this is what they do to disgrace the regime. That's the blue collar work. They want to disgrace any regime in any country. That's the win for them, because in this case, the corporations will go on top and the governments are going even lower than they are.
Yeah. Well, that's good to talk with you. Yeah, nice, really nice.